going on? Uh, it's like, have you ever noticed? It's like in the Bible, there's of there's a whole lot of stuff going on, man. In tents, you know what I'm saying? Like basically in Sodom and Gomorrah, one of the things that they did that was so evil is they would make basically group raiding parties, and they'd go out to tent people, and they would take their stuff, take their women, things like that. Abraham, this is a tent dude. He's living, moving around his tent. And then you look in Jasher, even his son Ishmael is in the tent. You know what I'm saying? That scene, he keeps coming to meet his son, and then it's just a tent with his wife in it. You know what I'm saying? Basically, that's something to take into consideration. Who lives that way anymore? You know what I'm saying? Let me find more examples of this. Moses, when Moses, leaves Egypt after he slays the Egyptian, you know what I'm saying? He's chilling in a tent. He's out in the desert for like a while, man, and then that's when God starts coming and talk to him. Is when he's out in the tent, by himself, basically far away from everyone, out in the wilderness, man. Let me think. And then for instance, you got for the longest time, the Ark of the Covenant was in a tent. It was like a little tent, a little moving tabernacle, a little moving, place of worship or whatever. So, they you look at people and you be like, oh man, they travel too much. They're pagan, they're heathens. When you realize, these things do happen on both sides of the thing. You know what I'm saying? On both sides of the thing. Basically David, man, while Saul's hunting him, he's on the run, and he's running from place to place through the fields. And before he became a king, he was a shepherd. He was out in the fields. This was a dude who probably lived in tents a lot, or even no tent, under the stars. You know what I'm saying? Or in caves, man. Who knows? Let me think. It's like it's like Jesus and the disciples, man. Where were they at? They were always in the fields, man, in between cities. Though they were in cities, there was a lot of times of traveling on boats in the field, out in between the cities, out in the wilderness. So it's like here's the thing, it says this in the Bible, right? It says, all right, there's two commandments, but there's also a third. You know what I'm saying? It's like Jesus says to the guy, he's like, oh, so you love God, you follow the commandments. Well, he's like, well, then give all you have and come and take your cross and follow me. And the dude couldn't do it because he had too much stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's another thing. That's how you cleanse yourself of these possessions that possess you. You know what I'm saying? These possessions, you know what I'm saying? Truly are. They do possess you, man. You know what I'm saying? I've seen people do evil things for bling bling. Evil things for the bling bling. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy. That's part of the city life. The part of the city life is getting a lot of stuff, having merchandise. Because the multitude of thine merchandise, iniquity was found in thee. You know what I'm saying? Same thing. It's like Indians. A lot of them, they lived in tents, or they lived in camps. You know what I'm saying? Same thing. Camps only a step up from a tent. You know what I'm saying? City has walls. Most cities have kings and commerce and soldiers and jails, and you know what I'm saying, and poverty and all the, and prostitution and all these things that come with the city life. People from the city would go out and rob people in the fields. People from the fields would lay in wait for people traveling from city to city. You know what I'm saying? It's something to think about here. So you kind of look at these people out, like they're hated on and discriminated against. They always have been. Hippies even. All them crazy hippies living out there, and you know what I'm saying, in their little camps they used to make. Well, I'm not all with that, but you know what I'm saying. It's like I understand when people. why can't, like this dude was telling me he was showing these people how to make little temporary housing out of pallets. This was down in New Mexico or Arizona, I think he was telling me. And then they made something called Pallet Town. And then basically these people started living out there and building these big cities of pallet crates into these little temporary housing, and then they've sent in dumpsters or bulldozers to smash these things down. And they call it Pallet Town. So I mean, I've seen them do it like down in. They got a place called the Jungle that's down in Florida, and people be living out in these little camp spots of the woods, and they be chilling out there. Like you'll be in the city, and there'll be a big patch of woods, like a big square. In the middle of that, there'll be a bum camp, and they'll just be chilling out there. They'll have a little tarp set up. You know what I'm saying? They'll be playing cards, drinking beer, whatever they be doing. But I mean, same thing. These are tent people. I mean, and it's funny how that it's illegal. You know what I'm saying, to live as a guerrilla camper type. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, there's ways you can live that way. But most people don't anymore. It's even like the Indians. They were free and they could live. You know, they survive the winter. If you can survive the winter in the dang tent, not starve, not freeze to death, that's a feat. You know what I'm saying? But it can be done. Just like in the desert, same thing, man. Fucking no water, but people have survived, and they're even stronger, better people for it. You look at John the Baptist. Where was he at? He was chilling out in the wilderness. You had to go walk through fields for a while, probably to get where he was at. You know, so I mean, something to think about. You know what I'm saying? There is something to the city, man. That there's a lot of people gathered together there. It's a gold mine of lost souls. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, and a gold mine of religious people. You know what I'm saying? Just because you're religious doesn't make you a good person or good or anything. You know, religious just means you're religious. Religious and superstitious they're like cousins. They're not identical, but you know what I'm saying? There is a lot of superstition in religion, and people can't distinguish between superstition and other things. You know, true spiritual things, not just there's a lot of hocus pocus in things, or there's even it's like because our society everything's been so redefined, or not properly defined, or purposefully. It's like you call one thing, but you won't. It's kind of like showing someone one half of something and hiding the other half. You know, it's because they label things that are real superstitions, but then other things are that's just superstitious. It's hard. You gotta be able to distinguish it through knowing what is what. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy out here the way things are so it's just mumbo jumbo and just mystified and denied. Out here redirection, misdirection, and it's almost like, man, they go back and they try to they're scrubbing the past to the present. So kind of like, slowly you see little things get taken away, man, or hidden. More things are obscured. It's like, all right, we got one layer of dirt on it. Sweep another layer of dirt on that now. Just in case for the people coming back to look, we're covering our tracks. Like a person, as they're walking, leaving footprints, someone's got they're covering up, they're sweeping up the footprints as they walk. You know what I'm saying? And disappearing the trail.